Hello and welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. And joining me as Animal Wrangler today, filling in for Randy Cooper again, is Sean Snyder, our Volunteer Coordinator. And our first guests that we have for you today are a bonded pair. We frequently get bonded pairs in the shelter, both dogs, cats, sometimes guinea pigs. These guys are Beethoven and Pickles, and they are Chihuahua mixes. Beethoven is the bigger of the two. He is 8 years old. And then Pickles is the female, and she's the smaller of the two, and she's 2 years old. So these guys really love each other. They'd been separated for a while because Pickles was recently spayed, and they were super excited to be able to see each other again for the first time in a couple of days when we brought them back out on the show today. One of their favorite things to do is when Beethoven lays down, Pickles likes to sit on top of him. She doesn't want to just snuggle up to him. She wants to sit right on top of him. It's like a Chihuahua pyramid. And they really just love each other very much in the way that Sadie and Scout loved each other. So because of that, we will not be separating them. So you do get a $20 reduction in your adoption fee for taking both of the dogs. That is a requirement. You have to take them both. And because of Beethoven's age at 8, he qualifies for the senior reduction in the adoption fee as well. So that helps a little bit with the fact that you have to take them both. But as you can see, they're both still very playful and young at heart. They walk well on leash. They don't have issues with food aggression or guarding. They really just want to hang out with each other. Because Beethoven is older, he is color-coded as orange, so he's a little bit calmer. He's walks a little bit better on leash, not as shy. He's a little bit more outgoing. Pickles is color-coded green. She's a little shyer. She might take a little bit more work on your part to get her acclimated to your home, but hopefully that will be an easier transition because they get to both go and be together. When you're adopting from us, our dog adoption fees for adult dogs, that's $92.50. Because of Beethoven's senior status, he would be $20 off, so he would be $72.50. So because you're taking two, they would both go home for that $72.50 a piece. That includes the spay, neuter, rabies vaccination, county license, microchipping, other preventative vaccines, flea and tick preventative, dewormer, a well visit to your vet. So it includes a lot of things. So you're really getting a lot for your money when you're adopting from us. If you are interested in taking home these guys, making them part of your family, be sure to stop in and visit with them here at Frederick County Animal Control. Our next guest is Allie. We have had a lot of puppies in the shelter lately, and Allie is one of those puppies. She is 9 months old. We have her down as a shepherd mix. Her previous owners told us that she was a shepherd golden retriever mix. She's got a beautiful coat. I love the tails. I love the crimping on her ears. One of our volunteers said that her name should be Debbie Gibson, which I thought was funny because of the nice haircut that she's got going on. As you can see, she's a beautiful dog, but she is still a puppy, and you can also see that she's got a lot of energy. So that's something that people who are going to be adopting her need to take into consideration. She is going to need to get out and run and have an outlet for all of that energy. If she's going to be inside, she needs to have some sort of mental stimulation because we don't want her to be getting into trouble because she's bored. We don't want her to be chewing on furniture and doing those types of things. I recently took her out to an event, and she did really well. She would calm down and lay down. She knows a lot of commands, so she would do those things for you. If you needed her to sit, she would sit. She does pull a little bit on a leash, but it's not anything that's overwhelming. If you use a harness, it's really not much of an issue at all. One of the things that I did notice about her is that while she's interested in other dogs, she doesn't really know how to introduce herself to them. It says that she was housed with other dogs before, but in a setting where there's a lot of other dogs, She really just wanted to bark at them. She didn't know how to engage them. And she's still a puppy, so she's mouthy, so she wanted to kind of put her mouth on all of the other dogs. So that's something that she would need some training on. But because she does know so many other commands and she's highly treat motivated, she has a lot of potential. You just have to be willing to put in that extra little bit of time for her. She's also she's very motivated by affection. We saw that while we were out as well. You know, if you wanted to not give her a treat, you were giving her that positive reinforcement by, you know, petting her. She was really able to be distracted from how she was interacting with the dogs to focus on you. She does have a lot of potential. According to her previous owner, she also knows German. Those are the commands that he was using with her, so that's something that she's a bilingual dog, which is a fun fact to have for people. She's very friendly. She's used to all the dog basics, so walking on leash, riding in cars, getting baths and vet checks and all of those things. She's a beautiful dog with a lot of potential. If you're interested in taking her home, because she is still a puppy, she would be adopted through our puppy process, which means we'll take up to 4 applications for her, and then we'll be choosing the best family for her. And she will also be going home for the puppy adoption fee, which would be $150. It includes all of the same stuff that would be included for all of the other animals that you would adopt from us. If you're interested in adding Allie to your family, stop by and visit her. We're open 6 days a week. This is Kira, and she is a husky. She's a 3-year-old dog. She was previously owned, and unfortunately they brought her to us because they said they were unable to house train her. So people who are thinking about taking Kira home, she is a beautiful dog, and she has a lot of great things about her. She's well-mannered, she walks nicely on leash, she doesn't have issues with food aggression or guarding. She really loves affection. She reacts favorably to other dogs. So even though she has all of those wonderful things going for her, you have to be prepared to house train her. Huskies as a breed can be hard to train. They can be a little bit stubborn. So that's something that you're really going to have to be committed to, or you know, be okay with her having accidents in the house. So you have to balance those things. You don't want to take her home because she's beautiful and sweet and then bring her back in a couple of weeks because you've decided that you don't want to deal with the accidents in your house. So really making an informed decision about those things and having a training plan in place for how you're going to work with her to ensure that she's going to learn that task that you want her to have down. But as I mentioned, she's very friendly. When you approach her kennel, she's excited to see you. She doesn't have issues walking past the other dogs and the adoption floor outside in the play yard. She really leans in and enjoys the affection. She takes treats very nicely. And according to her previous owner, she has experience living in the house with other dogs, so if you have another dog, that's something that she's not going to have a big issue with. Those dogs were a pit mix and a Maltese, so varying degrees of size. It also says that she's had experience with cats. We here are adopting her out through our puppy process. So that means that we're going to take 4 applications for her and choose the best fit for her. But because she is an adult dog, we won't be charging you that puppy adoption fee. She would be going home for the regular adult adoption fee for dogs, which would be $92.50. We are hoping to get somebody with husky experience. That's our preference, but she is available to anybody who would be interested in adopting her. You can visit her here at the shelter. We are located at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Our next guest might be a familiar face to some of you. Now she's going as Coco. She's known as Coco, but before she was in the shelter under the name of Cupcake. She is a terrier mix. She's 1.5 to 2 years old. She is a bundle of energy, so whoever's going to adopt her really needs to have a plan in place for how they're going to get her out and get all of her energy worked out, just like many of the other dogs we've had on the show today. According to her previous owner, she is a bit of a fence jumper, so that's something that you have to take under consideration. Just letting her out in your fenced-in yard, depending on the height of the fence, might not be a great idea because nobody wants to have to come to the shelter and bail their dogs out of puppy jail for coming in as strays running at large. Another issue that Cupcake has is that she also has an issue with not being housebroken. So you really want to figure out whether or not you have a plan in place to work with her every day to get her to the place where you want her to be. Other than those things, she's very affectionate. She walks fairly nicely on leash. She does jump a little bit. She has all of that terrier energy. So that's something that you want to be prepared for as well. She is a bit of a barker, according to her previous owner, a chewer. Those are, in my opinion, kind of terrier things. She is color-coded green, so she is going to need a little bit of training when you get her home. Every one of our dogs, we don't make guarantees about how well they're trained, so that's something that you have to be prepared to do when you get home. Even dogs that are color-coded the highest might still need some work when you get them home. It might be more about their temperament and how calm they are that they're color-coded blue, not necessarily that they know how to sit and how to lay down and stay and not necessarily, you know, jump up on things. As you can see, Coco's showing her affectionate side, giving Sean lots of kisses. She's very comfortable up there on his lap. She decided she wanted to get up there and cuddle, and that's what she did. She has no issues with food aggression. She has no issues with guarding. She reacts favorably to other dogs. So if you maybe had an older dog that could and teach Coco the ropes on how to behave, that might be a good situation for her. She's easy to obtain. She just has tons of energy, and she really needs to have somebody to really be consistent and work with her on those house training things. If you think that you're that person, you can visit her here at Animal Control. She's going to be available to be seen 6 days a week. Our last guest today is one that has been on the show many times before. So most of you, especially if you're frequent visitors to the shelter, probably know her. This is Bella. She is our longest canine resident right now. She might actually, in fact, be one of the longest residents at the shelter, period. She came to us back in early March. She is a 1 to 2 year old pit bull mix, and she, I would say, is the most affectionate dog on the floor. She loves to have people pet her, to scratch her, to rub her belly. She loves doing that. People come up and do it through the cage, and she will press her back right up to the cage of her kennel so that she can get lots of love and attention. But unfortunately, Bella has some things that she needs to work on, so we're looking for somebody that can be really committed to her. Bella is picky about who she chooses to be her friends. She doesn't always like other dogs. You know, she seems to be fine walking past, you know, the puppy. She likes the puppies. She seems to be okay walking past calmer dogs, but high energy dogs she really, really doesn't like. And she also is not always a fan of small children. She seems to be doing better with that. Girl Scouts walking by her when she's getting positive distractions. She seems to no longer want to bark at them when she's getting some cuddles. But because of those types of things, we have kind of restricted who we would like to adopt Bella to. So we're saying that we would like her to go to a home where there are older kids, like teenagers. She seems to be okay with them. In a home where probably she might be the only dog, but definitely no small dogs, no cats, just because we want to make sure that it's going to be her forever home and that she's not going to end up back here in a couple of weeks. She is, as I mentioned, very affectionate. We have people who are working with her, our volunteers, to kind of train her. As you can see, she does a nice sit now. She takes treats nicely. But she's going to need to still have a lot of training once you get her home. She pulls on her leash. She likes to chew on her leash, which is why she has a nice metal leash there. So just things to take into consideration. She's going to be the ultimate love bug in your family, but you're going to have to be willing to definitely work with her a little bit. If you're interested in Bella or any of the dogs that you've seen on the show today, stop by and visit us here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. Up after the break, we're going to have 5 cats that are also looking for their new forever homes here at the shelter.
Child abuse is not an isolated problem. It affects each of us, and it is only through each of us that child abuse can be prevented. Get involved. Call the Child Advocacy Center to find out how to help. 301-600-1758.
Welcome back. Our first feline guest is Truffles, and Truffles is a graduate from our foster care program. Truffles came to us, what you would say, maybe a bit rough around the edges. She was pretty much, she was semi-feral, so one of our kennel techs took her home and really gave her a ton of love and attention, taught Truffles, you know, that people were okay. She, you know, taught her how to interact with new people. She taught her how to play a little bit more politely, properly, and she also taught her how to love being loved. And Truffles is a very affectionate cat now. As soon as I took her out of her cage, she immediately started purring, you know, just reaching your hand in and giving her, you know, a nice little pet on the top of her head. She immediately started to purr, wanted to seek out more of that attention. She is a beautiful tortie. She's got great markings on her face, that nice black patch over her nose. She's adorable. She loves to hang off the top of her hammock in her cage, but she can still play a little bit rough. Things that you should be aware of if you have smaller kids in your house. Truffles is still learning those types of things. She can be a bit shy at times. Sometimes people walk by her cage and they don't even think that she's in there. She's just hiding behind her bed. So she does still need a little bit of work from her owner. She's not going to be, you know, a cat that necessarily just plops right into your family. She might still need a little bit of time to adjust, a little bit of training on those things that are appropriate. But as you can see, she's incredibly affectionate. She's loving the attention that she's getting right now. According to her foster mom, she doesn't always like to be held. Something that you might want to take into consideration as well. I think right now we have her so that there's a limited amount of people that can interact with her, so she's really loving the attention that she's getting. But once she's getting lots of attention, she might not be as eager to sit on a lap or to be picked up and carried around your home. But she is adorable, and she is looking for her new forever home here at Animal Control. She is also part of our May promotion, so if you were to adopt Truffles this month, she would be discounted by $20. So that's something also that you could take into consideration. She's one of the many animals that we are featuring this month with our May promotion. If you're interested in adding Truffles to your family, you can stop by in and visit with her. Her foster mom is also available to answer any questions that you might have about her. Our next guest is a beautiful tuxedo cat with a cute little pink nose. This is Polly, and as you can see, she's full of energy. She really wants to get down and explore. So if you're looking for an active cat, Polly might be a great choice for you. She's a year old, but she still has tons of kitten in her. Her previous owner brought her to us. It's no fault of Polly's that she ended up here. Her owner just had too many cats in the house. So Polly and several other cats came in, and now we're looking to find them new forever homes that are, you know, where she's going to get a lot more of attention and a lot more of love, all of the love that she really deserves. She's been around other cats, she's been around children, she's been around men and women. Her previous owner says that she's calm and able to handle, but she's definitely showing her more energetic side. It's also important for people to know when you're coming in and you're looking at animals in the shelter that it is a stressful environment for them. It's a new place, there's new people, there's lots of noises, there's dogs, there's other cats, they're just kind of bombarded with all of this stimuli, and so it can be a little overwhelming. And then when they get accustomed to living in their cages, they feel comfortable there, and then we bring them out here and put them on the show in a completely new place. And then they kind of get overwhelmed a little bit again. Sometimes they want to get down because they want to explore, and sometimes they want to get down because they're scared and they're looking for a place to hide. So when you're taking home animals from the shelter, it's really important to give them the appropriate amount of time to acclimate and adjust and get used to you and your home. We say in our adoption application that we would like you to always give the animals that you're adopting from us 60 days before making any decisions about whether or not to keep them in your home. That's really important. It's not something that's going to happen the day that you bring them home. For some animals it might, but for most animals it's going to take them a little bit longer to really feel comfortable. And Polly might be one of those animals. So if you're interested in Polly, you can stop by and visit her here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. Just ask any of the staff. We'll be able to help you start that process. Our next guest is an artist. This is Rembrandt. He came to us as a stray. He also came from the same place that Picasso came from, who was on the show a few episodes ago. These guys came in with paint all over their fur, so that's how they got their names. So they are strays, so we don't know a lot about them. What we're finding out about Rembrandt is that he's a pretty calm, chill guy. He is color-coded orange, which means he's an average cat. He kind of does what he wants when he wants, but in all of my interactions with him, he's been kind of the way he is now. He's perfectly happy to sit on a lap, get lots of affection. You walk by his cage, he's relatively quiet, usually curled up, hanging out, taking a cat nap. He's very sweet. He's got beautiful gray fur, and Sean says that it's very, very soft. I haven't actually had a lot of interaction with him being able to pet him, but he says it's kind of like bunny fur. And he's got just some beautiful eyes, so he's got a lot of great things going for him. If you're looking for a younger cat that's doesn't necessarily have the energy level that Polly has, Rembrandt might be a great choice for you. Cats that are still, a year to 2 years old still have a lot of that kitten behavior in them. They're still very playful. But the benefit of taking home an adult cat is that their personalities are more set. What you see is more likely to be what you get when you get home, whereas kittens are still developing just like our children. Their personalities haven't yet fully formed. So, the calmest kitten here in the shelter, once they get home and they're, a couple months older, might become very, very active kittens, and the very, very active kittens in the shelter might go home and feel comfortable and settle right in and be, super calm, cuddly lap cats. So there is definitely a benefit to adopting one of our older animals, just because you are more certain in what you're going to get. But Rembrandt is going to be adopted for our adult adoption fee. That would be $97.50 for our cats and kittens here. That includes all the same things that the dogs, cats, and rabbits get. So they're spayed and neutered, they're rabies vaccinated, they're microchipped. They get all of those preventatives. That also includes a free well visit to your vet. So you really can't beat what you're getting for the price when you adopt animals here from us at Frederick County Animal Control. This is Liza. Liza was on our adoption floor for just a few days, and then she came down with the kitty cold, which is not uncommon in the shelter. So she'd been off the floor for about 2 weeks, and now that she's got a clean bill of health, she's back out on the adoption floor with the other cats looking for her new forever home. Liza is 2 to 3 years old, and she came to us as a stray as well, so we don't know a ton about her. She has this great face. It's a much rounder, kind of flatter face than what we see for most of the cats that come in. So it's very unique. You can definitely pick her out from the other brown tabbies that we have on the floor, which are numerous right now. She's got very soft fur. She wants to get down and kind of explore right now, but when you're interacting with her near her cage, she's perfectly happy being held for as long as she wants, which is a typical cat thing. She'll let you know when she wants down. Most cats will definitely give you those indicators through their body language when they're ready to be left alone or when they want more attention, when they're upset. So it's important to understand those things when you're adding a cat to your family, especially if you're getting a cat for the first time. Maybe you've never had a pet before, or maybe you're accustomed to having a dog. Dog and cat body language is very different. Important things to look for with cats are going to be the tail. When their tail is really moving, they're less than thrilled by what's going on, or their ears, when their ears are pinned back. Good things to look for are purring is always a good indicator. Kneading is a good indicator that they're really relaxed and comfortable. So just making sure that you're doing your research if you're not used to having a feline in your house. Liza came in and like all of the other cats, she got her dewormer and her flea and tick preventative and her distemper vaccine, her rabies vaccine. Liza was already spayed, so if you came in and you fell in love with Liza, it will be a relatively quick turnaround for her adoption. We say that it takes 2 to 5 days for us to do all of the checks that we need to do on an application and set up interviews. But fortunately, Liza's already been rabies vaccinated and she's already been spayed, so we don't have to worry about getting her on a surgery schedule or things like that. So if you're interested in visiting with Liza and potentially making her part of your family, you can stop in at the shelter 6 days a week and do that. Our last guest on the show today is a blue card cat, which doesn't often happen, especially with a stray cat. This is Buford. He is a very chill guy. He's very mellow. He loves affection. He's pretty quiet. He's just a great lap cat, somebody who, one of the ones that really just wants to sit next to you, sit on you, and be lavished with love. Buford is approximately 6 to 7 years old. The older cats do tend to be the calmer ones. And he does have some kind of quirky things about him. He has a little hair loss, like where his eyebrows would be and under his, around his neck. So the top is from him trying to probably rub and get underneath surfaces. So, climbing underneath of things, maybe lattice and those types of things, it rubbed away the fur, but that can grow back. And then around his neck, that's likely from a collar being on there. When collars are too tight, that tends to happen. When you're putting collars on your cats, it's really important that you're using the breakaway collars. When you have collars on your dogs, you want those to stay on there for those identification purposes and things like that. Cats are going to be running, they crawl under things, it could get caught. That breakaway collar is going to really protect them. So if they get caught on something, when they put too much pressure on it, it's going to break open, and then the cats will be able to get free. They won't be able to get caught and be choked or anything like that. And you also want to make sure that it's not super tight, because you don't want your cat to have to deal with the hair loss that Buford has from his collar. Buford also loves to hide under things. When you walk by his cage, you'll often see just a big white lump because he's hiding underneath of his rug. He likes to make little burritos or burritos, whatever you want to call them, and stay nice and cozy. So he's probably going to burrow underneath your blankets at night in your bed, any of your throw blankets. He's really going to like those types of things. But he's a super sweet, super chill guy who is ready to find a great forever home and a new forever family. He's going to be the perfect addition for a family that is a quieter home, or a family with kids a little bit louder. He doesn't really have any of those types of restrictions. He is just a great overall cat, and if you're looking to make him part of your family, you want to make sure that you stop in and visit him here at Animal Control before somebody else makes him part of their family. His adoption fee would be reduced by $20 because he is a senior, so he would be going home for the great price of $77.50 if you were to add him to your family. So that's going to wrap it up for this week's edition of Pet Pals. We do hope that you will come back and watch next week while we introduce you to another set of amazing animals that are looking for their forever homes here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center.